I have been suffering with depression over the last 2, 3 weeks. I'm not telling people this because I want sympathy. It's actually quite the opposite. Um, I don't want people to feel sorry for me. I actually think that this experience is going to make me a better person. I want people to realize the mistakes I've made so they don't make them. And I want people who are suffering with depression to hear my story so they know that they are not alone when they struggle. It's normal to feel incapable, and it's normal to feel that you're worthless and everyone would be better off without you. I've I've had those thoughts. I've lived those moments. But the honest truth is, we all know that we are worth it, and we have to keep fighting because we have our family and friends that love us. And so therefore we have to put every ounce of energy we have in getting better. Um, I'm hopeful that I can maybe post a recording once a week um, of how I felt and what I've been up to. And the main reason for that is because I want people who have never suffered with depression to maybe hear my story and kind of understand depression better so they could then help their loved ones who may be sufferers. So if you've all watched my first video that I uploaded, um, you will know that I split up with the love of my life. Um, I thought I knew how much I loved her when I was with her, in all honesty. Um, but now I know that I didn't know just how much. Um, if if I thought I loved her a trillion, then let's just say now I know that it's an infinite number. I didn't think I would ever suffer with depression based on the type of individual that I am. Um, the last 2, 3 weeks, I've missed her to the point that I felt like I was mourning the death over my loved one. But the problem is, I've been mourning every day, every hour, every minute of every second, and it feels painful. People say when you're single, you don't have to answer to anyone. You can do what you want, when you want, be who you want to be. But what if you want to be the guy that your ex loved? The guy who made her smile? The guy whose life pretty much orbited around hers? I guess I find myself in this dilemma. My life feels like it has no purpose because the purpose in my life was to make my ex-girlfriend happy. I do respect her wishes, though, of not to be with me, but that doesn't mean to say that I've given up on hoping she will come back to me. If she truly loved me, then stupidly, you could say, I still believe that she'll return, and that is the aspiration that I hold on to. Why do I believe she'll return to me one day? Well, see, the thing is, when I was upset with my girlfriend, I felt that maybe I had fallen out of love with her. Maybe things couldn't be repaired as they once were. I always believed that if something was broken and you fixed it, you could never repair it to as it was, and so therefore it'd never be as good as it once used to be. I guess the thing is, though, is when you lose something, that's actually when you realize maybe just what it actually meant to you. And what I have realized now is that she is my everything, and I hope my everything will return to me. And I'm hopeful that she will realize that yes, I did make some mistakes, but she still loves me and she can find it within herself to forgive me. There have been days where I felt I'd be better off not to be here. Um, I never ever thought I'd have these sort of dark thoughts. But then I tell myself that I don't want to give up. I work in a field where I am responsible for supporting people with sicknesses, with conditions, and I thought I knew depression well. I would say that now being a sufferer of depression, I didn't have a clue just how difficult it is for people and how horrible it is to be suffering in this way. Depression makes everything feel like it doesn't matter. My friends tell me to go out, stop worrying about things. They tell me that things will get easier. They tell me to keep myself busy, to do things that I used to enjoy doing. I guess what they don't understand is that when you suffer with depression, you feel numb. You feel incapable of doing the simplest things. And this makes you feel like you're letting not just yourself down, but also other people down who care for you. And this makes you feel even worse. This is a little random, but I remember um, a teacher, an Arabic teacher, who once said to me, "Do you understand what people feel when they're in a state of prayer?" And he said to me, "What do you feel when you're in a state of prayer?" And I said to him, "I don't actually feel anything." And he said to me, "What dish do you like eating?" And I told him I loved my mother's chicken curry. Um, so he asked me and said, "So if you have chicken curry today after this class, will you enjoy it?" And I said, "Yes, of course I will." And he then said to me, "Okay, and then tomorrow morning you wake up with a cold, you're not very well. When you eat that chicken curry, the same curry, will you enjoy it?" And I said, "No, um, because it will taste bland." And he said, "But why? It's the same chicken curry." And I said to him, "Because I guess I'm ill. That's why it wouldn't taste so good." What he then proceeded to say was, maybe your soul is sick and that is why you don't understand the state of prayer and the joys that people get when they're in that state. I thought he had a valid point, but I didn't really think about it too much. What I would say is when you suffer with depression, it's like your soul is sick. Doesn't matter what you do, everything just feels bland. You can't seem to find happiness in anything, and you struggle. Um, and it makes you think, how will things get better? It doesn't matter what I do, I just don't feel good. The thing I would say though is that even when you feel like that, don't push yourself too hard and don't be too hard on yourself. But when you feel even a little capable, try and do something you did like. Maybe even go for a walk if that's all you're capable of, because actually it does help a little. Um, I've got a lot of good friends, and I guess they're trying to help me. I remember when my ex-girlfriend went through a hard time in life herself, and at the time, I don't know if she was suffering from depression, but she was struggling, and she was getting counseling, and she had a counseling session one day, and then she was telling me that she felt more positive, and I had a very strong view, which was I don't understand how a counselor can help you. Why can't you help yourself? If you fix the problem, then you're not going to be stressed by it, you're not going to be depressed by it. So what can a counsellor do for you that you can't do for yourself? I remember her being extremely upset following this conversation that I had with her. And thinking about things now, I think what an idiot I was. Um, I didn't realise that actually sometimes it's not about people telling you to do the things that you should do, because actually when they tell you and you can't do it, you feel even more down in yourself. Sometimes when people listen and actually listen and tell you that it's okay to feel the way you do, that it's not abnormal, that it's not weird, and that you're not the only one suffering, and actually there's other people like you out there that are struggling, and it's okay to struggle. It makes you feel a little more empowered. And I guess that's what my ex-girlfriend felt at that point, and I said what I said. And I'm so sorry that I said that. I now know that that must have helped, and I probably took that positivity out by saying what I said. A friend of mine sent me a quote today by Nelson Mandela, and I think he said, "The greatest glory in living is not in falling, but in rising every time we fall." Um, I actually feel inspired for reading this. Makes me want to believe that actually things will be okay. And I'm confident that it will. Not every story has a happy ending, unfortunately. But I always used to say that if you don't stop believing and you don't give up, then you can never fail. Because if you don't stop, then the story hasn't ended. And therefore, I encourage anyone who's suffering with depression to keep fighting and to keep going on. Um, I I would say that the last 3 weeks I've struggled more than I've ever done before. I didn't know that I could struggle this much, that I could be in this much pain. But the one thing I would say that is a positive is over these 3 weeks I've been able to reflect on my life and how I was. And in the past, if anyone ever said anything to me about me that I didn't like hearing, then I would defend it. I would listen to it as criticism. When you suffer with depression and you think about things, I would say your ego goes out the window. And therefore, when you actually think about things, you think about things in an honest way. And I feel I've been able to do that over the last 2, 3 weeks. And therefore, I now realize some of the mistakes that I made and some of the things that I definitely want to change about me. I want to help people. I don't want to see people suffer. I've suffered and I understand just how much it hurts. And therefore, I think that if I could even help one person who's suffering with depression through these videos or through me meeting them and talking to them, and that helps them, then I will see that as a success in life. I'm hoping that even if my ex-girlfriend doesn't get back together with me, she'll give me the opportunity to at least see her once more at some point in life, so I can actually apologize in person for the hurt that I must have caused her. I will always love her no matter what. Be it I can be with her, be it I can't be with her, I will always still love her the same. I think I'm going to wrap up the video for today. I hope the people that have listened to this video will have a slightly better understanding of what someone goes through when they're suffering with depression. Be there for them, don't push them. Try and support them. Walk at their pace. Don't try and make people who suffer with depression walk at your pace, because if you do, you make them feel even more incapable. That's it for today. I'll try and record another message that I'll upload maybe next week.